Life and Loyalty by Dag Heward-Mills. In Life and Loyalty, Dag Heward-Mills presents loyalty not as a sentimental virtue but as a battlefield discipline, one that determines whether relationships, churches, and destinies survive betrayal or collapse beneath it. Written with pastoral urgency and personal vulnerability, the book reads like both a warning and a survival guide for anyone navigating leadership, commitment, and human frailty. Life and Loyalty argues that loyalty is the essential force that preserves relationships, organizations, and spiritual life, while disloyalty is the hidden disease that destroys them. Drawing heavily from biblical narratives, ministry experience, and leadership observation, Heward-Mills frames loyalty as both a moral obligation and a strategic necessity. He begins by asserting that disloyalty is inevitable. Even Jesus Christ experienced betrayal, yet leaders and followers can minimize its effects through awareness and teaching. The book introduces 5 statutes, or rules, that govern loyalty, emphasizing that individuals must actively guard their own faithfulness. Teaching, he argues, acts as a kind of immunization, preventing the spread of disloyalty within organizations. Heward-Mills also explores how loyalty is tested most severely during moments of temptation, when individuals must remember their commitments rather than abandon them. He emphasizes that true loyalty is directed first toward God rather than toward institutions or individuals, creating a hierarchy of allegiance rooted in spiritual conviction. The book also warns against destructive behaviors such as criticizing or undermining what one has helped build. In the second half, Heward-Mills introduces 3 principles that explain how loyalty functions practically, including its role in exposing wrongdoing and maintaining organizational integrity. He argues that loyalty requires honesty, courage, and willingness to face opposition. The author also examines how murmuring and hidden criticism erode trust and unity. Finally, he emphasizes the importance of historical awareness, arguing that understanding the past strengthens conviction and prevents misguided allegiance. Throughout, the book portrays loyalty as both a personal discipline and a collective responsibility. Ultimately, Heward-Mills presents loyalty as a defining test of character that shapes leadership, legacy, and spiritual destiny. Chapter 1: 5 Statutes of Loyalty. The first chapter establishes the conceptual and emotional foundation of the book by presenting 5 fundamental statutes governing loyalty. Heward-Mills begins by asserting that disloyalty is inevitable, using the betrayal of Jesus by Judas as the ultimate example. He writes, "No matter what you do, some people will become disloyal in the process of time." This statement reframes disloyalty as a universal reality rather than an avoidable anomaly. The chapter then introduces the idea that teaching functions as preventive medicine, comparing loyalty instruction to immunization against disease. This metaphor is both vivid and persuasive, suggesting that loyalty must be cultivated intentionally rather than assumed. Heward-Mills also emphasizes the importance of remembering commitments during times of temptation, illustrating this principle through Peter's denial of Christ. Another major focus is the hierarchy of loyalty, emphasizing that allegiance must ultimately belong to God rather than human systems. Finally, the chapter warns against destroying what one has helped build, arguing that criticism and division undermine collective progress. This chapter sets the tone for the entire book, presenting loyalty as a disciplined choice rather than a passive emotion. Chapter 2: 3 Principles of Loyalty. The second chapter shifts from foundational theory to practical application, introducing 3 operational principles of loyalty. The first principle is that loyalty exposes wrongdoing. Heward-Mills uses the example of Joseph, who reported his brother's misconduct to their father, demonstrating that loyalty involves accountability rather than blind approval. He writes, "Joseph brought unto his father their evil report." This example challenges the common assumption that loyalty means silence in the face of wrongdoing. Instead, Heward-Mills argues that true loyalty protects the organization by confronting problems. The chapter also explores the destructive power of murmuring, describing it as a hidden force that spreads dissatisfaction and division. Heward-Mills portrays murmuring as both a symptom and a cause of disloyalty, emphasizing the importance of open communication. He explains, "Murmuring is like a cancer that doesn't go away." This metaphor communicates the seriousness of hidden discontent and its capacity to destroy relationships from within. Finally, the chapter examines the importance of historical understanding. Heward-Mills argues that loyalty requires knowledge of a leader's past, using biblical examples to illustrate how historical awareness strengthens conviction. This chapter concludes the book by presenting loyalty as an informed and deliberate commitment rather than blind obedience. One of the book's greatest strengths is its structured presentation. By organizing loyalty into statutes and principles, Heward-Mills creates a conceptual framework that is easy to understand and remember. The medical metaphor of immunization is particularly effective. Teaching is like primary health care that seeks to tackle health issues from the preventive point of view. This analogy transforms loyalty from an abstract virtue into a practical preventive measure. The structure also reflects the author's pastoral background, resembling a sermon series designed for gradual internalization. The book explores loyalty as both a spiritual discipline and a practical leadership necessity. One of the most powerful themes is inevitability. Heward-Mills emphasizes that betrayal cannot be eliminated entirely. If this happened to Jesus, it can happen to you. This insight removes naive expectations and replaces them with realism. Another key theme is memory and commitment. Heward-Mills argues that loyalty is defined not by promises made, but by promises kept. The book demonstrates keen psychological awareness, particularly in its analysis of murmuring. Heward-Mills writes, "Murmuring is like a cancer that doesn't go away." This metaphor captures the destructive and contagious nature of hidden resentment. The book recognizes that disloyalty often begins internally before becoming visible externally. Heward-Mills' writing style is direct and emotionally charged. His use of personal experience adds credibility and authenticity. For example, he writes, "My fledgling ministry experienced a satanic attack through conspiracy, accusations, fault-finding, slander, and breakaways. This admission reveals vulnerability and strengthens reader trust. Few leadership books focus so narrowly and intensely on loyalty. This specialization allows deeper exploration than broader leadership manuals. The book strongly emphasizes loyalty but gives less attention to ethical dissent. This imbalance may leave readers wondering when resistance becomes necessary. Some ideas repeat frequently, which can slow pacing. However, repetition reinforces retention and teaching effectiveness. Compared to other leadership works by the same author, this book is more concise and foundational. Compared to broader leadership classics, it focuses intensely on faithfulness rather than leadership techniques generally. This book will appeal especially to church leaders, ministry workers, organizational leaders, entrepreneurs, readers interested in leadership psychology, Christians interested in spiritual formation. It is particularly valuable for leaders managing teams and relationships built on trust. Life and Loyalty is emotionally powerful, psychologically insightful, and practically useful. Its greatest strength lies in its realism. It acknowledges human weakness while offering practical guidance. It challenges readers to examine their own character and commitments. Life and Loyalty is an essential leadership and spiritual formation book. It offers profound insight into human nature, leadership, and commitment. It is especially valuable for readers in ministry and leadership roles. Rating, 9/10. Highly recommended.